a motorcycle, you expect years of adventure, thrill, and reliability. But some machines are built so tough, they're more than just motorcycles. They're legends. These bikes are engineered with bulletproof engines, simple mechanics, and timeless designs that keep them running long after their riders have hung up their helmets. From indestructible Japanese cruisers to rugged adventure bikes that laugh in the face of mileage, these motorcycles are known for lasting hundreds of thousands of miles with only basic maintenance. Today, we're counting down the 10 motorcycles that will truly outlast their riders. Number 10. Honda Shadow 750. When it comes to reliable cruisers that don't break the bank, the Honda Shadow 750 has carved out a reputation that few bikes can match. Introduced in the early 1980s, the Shadow quickly became Honda's answer to Harley-Davidson, offering American riders a taste of the cruiser lifestyle without the headaches of constant maintenance or mechanical quirks. Over time, the Shadow 750 built a following that was less about flash and more about peace of mind. A bike you could count on to start every morning and carry you thousands of miles without complaint. At its heart is Honda's 745 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin engine, designed not only for smooth, usable power, but also for longevity. Riders often tell stories of putting 100,000 miles on a Shadow with little more than oil changes, tire replacements, and the occasional chain adjustment. It's an engine that doesn't ask much, but gives back years of dependable service. The Shadow 750 isn't about screaming horsepower or cutting-edge technology. It's about balance. A balance between enough performance to handle highways with ease and a design simple enough to keep running long after newer bikes have been retired. For older riders, the Shadow 750 hits a sweet spot. It has the laid-back cruiser ergonomics, low seat height, and easy handling that make long rides less punishing. At the same time, it's light and approachable enough that riders who don't want to wrestle a 900-pound touring machine can still enjoy the open road. This combination made the Shadow an entry point for many new riders, but also a reliable long-term companion for seasoned bikers who just wanted a low-stress, comfortable motorcycle. Another reason the Shadow stands out in longevity is Honda's commitment to parts and service. Unlike some brands where discontinued models quickly become orphans, Honda continues to support Shadows with parts availability and dealer expertise. That means riders can keep these machines alive for decades without hunting through salvage yards or fabricating custom fixes. For a bike built in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s, that's a huge advantage. But perhaps the Shadow's greatest legacy is that it offered American riders Harley-inspired style with Japanese engineering reliability. Chrome, teardrop tanks, rumbling exhausts, they're all there. Yet under the skin, the Shadow 750 is pure Honda. Overbuilt, understressed, and engineered to endure. In many ways, it bridged the gap between riders who loved the cruiser aesthetic but wanted the bulletproof dependability that Honda was known for. Today, you can still find Honda Shadows on the used market for surprisingly low prices, many with tens of thousands of miles left in them. Riders in their 40s, 50s, and 60s often keep a Shadow as a forever bike. Not necessarily the flashiest machine in the garage, but the one you can always trust to fire up and get you home. That kind of reputation doesn't come easy. It comes from decades of proving itself on highways, back roads, and cross-country adventures. For these reasons, the Honda Shadow 750 earns its place at number 10 on our list. It's not the loudest, the fastest, or the rarest, but it might just be one of the last bikes you'll ever need to buy. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Electra Glide. Few motorcycles embody the spirit of the open road quite like the Harley-Davidson Electra Glide. Since its introduction in 1965, the Electra Glide has been a symbol of long-distance touring, freedom, and American craftsmanship. For many riders in the United States, this bike isn't just transportation, it's a lifestyle. What makes it special for our list is not only its legendary comfort and design, but its proven ability to last decades and rack up jaw-dropping mileage with proper care. The Electra Glide was Harley's first motorcycle to feature an electric starter, and from that innovation onward, it has been setting the standard for touring machines. At its core is the classic Harley V-twin engine, evolving over the years from the shovelhead to the Evolution, twin cam, and Milwaukee 8 power plants. Each generation has delivered not just torque and character, but also surprising longevity. There are countless stories of Electra Glides rolling past 150,000 miles and still going strong. Some even hit the 250,000 mark before needing major overhauls. A big reason for this durability is Harley's traditional design philosophy. The Electra Glide isn't about cramming in the latest tech or racing-inspired performance. Instead, it's built around a big, under-stressed V-twin engine that delivers its power smoothly and steadily. These engines don't scream at high RPMs. They chug, thump, and cruise along, often lasting longer simply because they aren't pushed to their limits. Add to that Harley's robust frames, strong drivetrains, and a culture of maintenance among owners, and you have a bike that can outlive its rider. For older riders in the US, the Electra Glide holds a unique appeal. Its large frame, spacious seating, and touring amenities, like saddlebags, fairings, and comfortable passenger accommodations, make it one of the best long-distance cruisers ever made. Riders in their 40s, 50s, and beyond often choose the Electra Glide because it allows them to keep enjoying cross-country trips without sacrificing comfort. Unlike smaller cruisers, this is a bike designed to eat up highways for hours on end, with the rider arriving at the destination far less fatigued. Another reason the Electra Glide lasts is Harley-Davidson's unmatched parts network. Nearly every town in America has a Harley dealer, and aftermarket support is enormous. That means even older Electra Glides from the 70s or 80s can still be maintained with relative ease today. For a motorcycle, this kind of long-term support is rare and priceless. Of course, the Electra Glide is also tied deeply to rider culture. Police departments across the country have used these bikes for decades, further proving their toughness and reliability under heavy use. And for many riders, owning an Electra Glide isn't just about the machine. It's about being part of a tradition, a brotherhood, and a way of life that gets passed down through generations. When a motorcycle is built for comfort, supported with endless parts, and powered by an engine that can go the distance, it's no wonder so many Electra Glides have outlasted multiple owners. Whether parked outside a diner in a small town or roaring across the interstate on a coast-to-coast trip, the Electra Glide is proof that some motorcycles aren't just machines. They're companions for life. For those reasons, the Harley-Davidson Electra Glide earns the number 9 spot on our list of motorcycles that will outlast their riders. Number 8. Yamaha V-Max. If ever there was a motorcycle that blended raw muscle with mechanical durability, it's the Yamaha V-Max. Launched in 1985, the V-Max was Yamaha's unapologetic answer to American muscle cars. Big, loud, powerful, and built to intimidate. It quickly became a cult favorite, not just for its brutal straight-line speed, but for its ability to keep running long after lesser machines had given up. For riders over 40 in the US, the V-Max isn't just a memory of the 80s. It's a living legend that continues to prove its toughness. At the heart of the V-Max is its famous 1,197 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V4 engine, producing around 145 horsepower in its early models. This was unheard of for a cruiser in the mid-80s, and it gave the V-Max a reputation as the Mad Max of motorcycles. Riders loved its explosive acceleration, especially when Yamaha introduced its patented V-Boost system, which delivered an adrenaline surge at higher RPMs. But what makes the V-Max stand out for longevity is that, beneath all the performance theatrics, it was massively overbuilt. The V4 was engineered to handle stress far beyond what most riders would ever put it through. Many V-Max owners have clocked well over 100,000 miles with minimal issues, provided the bike received routine maintenance. The shaft drive system eliminated the need for constant chain adjustments, and the liquid cooling kept engine temperatures under control even during hard riding. In short, Yamaha built the V-Max like a tank. This was not a fragile performance bike that demanded babying. It was a brute that thrived on being ridden hard and often. For older riders, the V-Max still carries enormous nostalgia. In the 80s and 90s, it was the ultimate street weapon, a bike that turned heads and drew crowds at every stoplight. Riders who owned one often talk about the sense of power and respect it commanded. But as the years have passed, many also appreciate how well these bikes have held up mechanically. With proper care, a decades-old V-Max can still deliver the same thrill it did on day one. The second-generation V-Max, introduced in 2009 with a massive 1,679 cubic centimeters engine and even more power, only added to its reputation. While heavier and more refined, it maintained the same core values: outrageous speed and unshakable reliability. This blend makes the V-Max unique. It's not just a performance monster, but a long-term investment that, with upkeep, can remain a road warrior for life. Another key to its longevity is the strong aftermarket and enthusiast community. The V-Max has a loyal fan base that ensures parts, tuning tips, and restoration projects remain widely available. This means that even 30- or 40-year-old V-Max models can be kept in fighting shape, often looking and running like new with some care. Ultimately, the Yamaha V-Max earns its spot on this list because it's one of those rare motorcycles that delivers both excitement and endurance. It's not just a bike you ride, it's a bike you live with for decades. For riders who crave both speed and reliability, the V-Max is proof that sometimes the most thrilling machines are also the ones that outlast us. Number 7. Suzuki DR650. If you're looking for a motorcycle that seems virtually indestructible, the Suzuki DR650 is the perfect example. First introduced in the 1990s, the DR650 hasn't changed much in design, and that's precisely why riders love it. Suzuki built this bike with one thing in mind: simplicity. And in the world of motorcycles, simple often equals long-lasting. For older riders in the US who appreciate machines that just keep going, the DR650 has earned a reputation as one of the most durable dual sport bikes ever made. The heart of the DR650 is its 644 cubic centimeter air, oil-cooled single-cylinder engine. On paper, it doesn't sound impressive. It's not a horsepower monster, nor is it packed with cutting-edge technology. But that's the secret to its longevity. Fewer moving parts mean fewer chances for failure. The engine is tuned for low-stress, usable power, enough to handle dirt trails, back roads, and even highways, but never enough to push the engine into dangerous territory. As a result, many DR650s routinely hit 80,000 to 100,000 miles without needing a rebuild, provided they get regular oil changes and basic maintenance. Another reason the DR650 earns legendary status is its versatility. Riders have taken these bikes across deserts, through forests, and even around the globe. Adventure riders love them because they're light compared to big touring machines, yet still strong enough to haul gear for long trips. And because the DR650 doesn't rely on complex electronics, riders in remote areas can often fix issues with basic tools. This is the kind of bike you could take to Alaska or ride through South America, confident that it will get you home. In the US, the DR650 has always had a cult following. Riders in their 40s and 50s who started out on dirt bikes often graduate to the DR650 because it delivers that same rugged fun, but with the durability to last decades. It's also approachable, tall enough for adventure riding, but not overwhelming in weight. For many older riders, that balance between capability and manageability makes it a perfect forever bike. What really sets the DR650 apart, though, is its old-school design philosophy. In an era where many bikes are packed with fuel injection, ABS, traction control, and digital dashboards, the DR650 sticks with a carburetor, a basic steel frame, and suspension that's built to handle punishment. While this might seem outdated, it's exactly why these bikes can keep running for decades. There's simply less to break. And when something does wear out, parts are easy to find and affordable to replace. Even today, in 2025, the DR650 is still sold new in the US almost unchanged. That's proof of how bulletproof the design really is. Riders keep buying them because they know what they're getting. A tough, dependable motorcycle that's not flashy, but will likely still be running long after newer, more high-tech bikes are gathering dust in garages. The Suzuki DR650 is proof that sometimes the simplest solution is the best. It doesn't need to be the fastest or the prettiest. What it offers is trust. Trust that it will fire up when you need it, carry you through any terrain, and keep rolling long after other machines have given up. That's why the DR650 deserves a solid place on this list of motorcycles that outlast their riders. Number 6. Honda CB750. When the Honda CB750 hit the streets in 1969, it didn't just change motorcycles, it changed history. Often called the world's first superbike, the CB750 was groundbreaking for its time, blending reliability, performance, and affordability in a way no other motorcycle had before. But beyond its place in history, the CB750 earned a reputation as a machine that just wouldn't quit. For American riders, especially those over 40, the CB750 is a symbol of Honda's bulletproof engineering, and many of these bikes are still running strong half a century later. At the heart of the CB750 is its 736 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine. In the late 60s, this was revolutionary. 4 cylinders, overhead cam, and a silky smooth ride. While European bikes of the era were often fast but finicky, and American V-twins were tough but crude, the CB750 struck a perfect balance. It offered reliability on par with a commuter bike, yet it delivered performance that thrilled riders who wanted more. That combination meant riders could push the CB750 hard without constantly worrying about breakdowns. Longevity became one of its hallmarks. Many CB750s from the 70s and 80s are still on the road today, with odometers showing well over 100,000 miles. The inline-4 design, combined with Honda's famously conservative engineering, meant the engines were rarely stressed to their limits. Routine oil changes, valve adjustments, and carb cleanings were enough to keep these machines running year after year. Another reason the CB750 earned its lasting reputation is its sheer popularity. Honda sold these bikes by the hundreds of thousands, and that wide adoption means parts remain available even today. Aftermarket suppliers and classic Honda enthusiasts keep the ecosystem alive, ensuring that restoring or maintaining a CB750 is not only possible but often easier than with newer, more complicated bikes. For older riders in the US, the CB750 also carries deep nostalgia. In the 1970s, it was the bike that seemed to be everywhere, parked outside diners, roaring down highways, or tearing through small-town back roads. Many who rode in that era either owned a CB750 or knew someone who did. And for those who didn't, the bike's reputation alone made it legendary. It was the motorcycle that could take you to work during the week and across the country on the weekend. The CB750 also spawned an entire family of reliable Hondas, including the Nighthawk 750, which continued the tradition into the 80s and 90s. These successors carried forward the same philosophy: smooth, dependable 4-cylinder engines that could last decades with minimal fuss. In many ways, Honda perfected the formula with the CB750 and kept refining it for generations. Even today, restored CB750s are highly sought after, not just as collectibles, but as riders. That speaks volumes about their durability. Most vintage vehicles end up as museum pieces, too fragile to ride regularly. The CB750, by contrast, is still trusted to hit the road decades later, proving its timeless design and toughness. For these reasons, the Honda CB750 earns the number 6 spot on our list. It wasn't just the motorcycle that started the superbike era. It was the bike that proved performance and longevity could go hand in hand. And for many riders, that legacy continues every time a CB750 fires up and takes them down the road, just as strong as it did decades ago. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Sportster. Few motorcycles are as iconic and enduring as the Harley-Davidson Sportster. Introduced in 1957, the Sportster has been in continuous production for more than 6 decades, making it one of the longest-running motorcycle models in history. That kind of longevity isn't just a testament to Harley-Davidson's marketing power. It's proof of how tough, adaptable, and beloved this bike really is. For American riders, particularly those over 40, the Sportster isn't just a motorcycle. It's a rite of passage. The Sportster has always been defined by its V-twin engine. From the early Ironhead motors to the Evolution and later designs, the Sportster's engine is simple, reliable, and designed to be serviced by the rider. It doesn't need exotic parts or complex electronics. Instead, it thrives on regular oil changes, valve checks, and routine maintenance. Thousands of Sportsters across America have easily crossed the 100,000-mile mark without major rebuilds, proving that when treated right, these bikes will outlast not only trends, but often their riders as well. One of the keys to the Sportster's longevity is its adaptability. Over the years, Harley offered countless variations: the 883, the 1200, touring-ready models, stripped-down cafe racer styles, and even off-road-inspired versions. Despite these differences, the core machine remained the same: a sturdy frame wrapped around a rock-solid V-twin. Riders could customize, rebuild, and modify their Sportsters endlessly, knowing the foundation was strong. This flexibility made the Sportster a favorite among tinkerers who wanted a bike they could truly make their own and keep running for decades. For older riders in the U.S., the Sportster has a special place in memory. Many riders started their Harley journey on a Sportster, drawn by its approachable size and lower price compared to the big touring models. But what often surprised those riders was how long the Sportster stayed in their garages. It wasn't a bike you outgrew, it was a bike you kept, sometimes for life. Another factor is the sheer availability of parts and support. Harley-Davidson has one of the most extensive dealer and aftermarket networks in the world. Whether you need a replacement part for a 1980s Sportster or want to upgrade your 2000s model, you can find what you need without difficulty. That kind of support is crucial to a bike's long-term survival, and it ensures that even decades-old Sportsters remain roadworthy today. Durability also extends beyond the mechanical. The Sportster's frame, suspension, and driveline were designed to withstand years of real-world use. Police forces, couriers, and everyday commuters have all used Sportsters, pushing them through punishing miles with remarkable reliability. Combined with Harley's culture of restoration and preservation, it's no wonder Sportsters from the 1960s and 70s are still proudly rumbling down American highways. The Harley-Davidson Sportster may not be the flashiest or most high-tech motorcycle, but it has something far more important: staying power. It's a machine that defines the phrase, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." For riders over 40, the Sportster represents both nostalgia and practicality. A bike that can still keep up today, just as it did decades ago. That's why the Harley-Davidson Sportster claims the number 5 spot on our list of motorcycles that will outlast their riders. It's a true American classic, built to endure. Number 4. Kawasaki KLR 650. If there's one motorcycle that has earned the title of indestructible, it's the Kawasaki KLR 650. First introduced in 1987, the KLR 650 remained in production for over 3 decades with minimal changes, a rare feat in the motorcycle world. For riders in the U.S., especially those over 40 who value a dependable workhorse, the KLR 650 represents simplicity, durability, and versatility at its finest. It's the bike you could ride around town today and take across the desert tomorrow, confident that it will get you back in one piece. The heart of the KLR 650 is its 651 cubic centimeter single-cylinder, liquid-cooled engine. It's not a speed demon, but it was never meant to be. Instead, it's a long-stroke, under-stressed thumper designed to provide usable power and endure abuse. Owners often joke that the KLR runs on anything: gasoline, old oil, maybe even swamp water, and while that's an exaggeration, it speaks to the bike's reputation. Stories abound of KLR 600s and 50s surviving horrific crashes, being submerged in rivers, or ridden thousands of miles off-road with little more than basic maintenance. One of the keys to the KLR's longevity is its design philosophy: keep it simple. While modern adventure bikes bristle with electronics, sensors, and computer systems, the KLR relied on a carburetor, a sturdy frame, and a rugged suspension setup. This meant fewer things to fail and easier fixes when they did. In remote areas where dealerships are scarce, riders could keep their KLRs running with little more than hand tools and ingenuity. For adventure riders and commuters alike, that made the KLR a bike you could trust in the long haul. In the US, the KLR became especially beloved among riders who wanted an affordable entry into adventure touring. It wasn't fancy, but it got the job done. Riders in their 40s and 50s often saw it as the Swiss Army knife of motorcycles, capable of commuting during the week, hauling camping gear into the wilderness on weekends, and handling long cross-country rides when the opportunity came. And because it wasn't a high-strung machine, it was easy on the wallet, both in fuel efficiency and maintenance costs. Another factor that makes the KLR 650 stand out is its global legacy. The US military even used a variant of the KLR for reconnaissance missions, outfitted to run on diesel fuel. That kind of endorsement speaks volumes about its toughness and adaptability. If a motorcycle can survive military duty, it can certainly handle decades of civilian use. Even after Kawasaki briefly discontinued it in 2018, the demand was so strong that the KLR returned in 2022 with updated features like fuel injection and ABS. Yet, at its core, it remains the same rugged machine that riders have trusted for decades. Owners often say their KLR will outlast not only them, but also their children, ready to keep rolling into the next generation. For all these reasons, the simple design, the rugged build, and the endless stories of survival, the Kawasaki KLR 650 earns its place near the top of this list. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it is absolutely dependable. For riders who want a motorcycle that will keep going long after others have quit, the KLR 650 is a legend that proves less really can be more. Number 3. BMW R120 GS. When it comes to adventure motorcycles, no bike has earned a bigger reputation for toughness and longevity than the BMW R1200 GS. For decades, this machine has been the go-to choice for riders who want to cross continents, tackle dirt trails, and still cruise comfortably on highways. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a global travel companion. And for riders over 40 in the US, the R1200 GS has become a symbol of freedom, adventure, and endurance. The R1200 GS made its debut in 2004, building on BMW's GS legacy that started back in the 1980s with the R80G/S. At its heart is the legendary air and liquid-cooled 1,170 cubic centimeters Boxer twin engine. The flat twin layout isn't just about tradition, it's about reliability. Boxer engines are naturally balanced, run cooler than most, and have a reputation for going the distance. There are countless stories of GS engines crossing the 200,000-mile mark with nothing more than regular oil changes and valve adjustments. In fact, some GS owners proudly share odometer photos north of 300,000 miles. Part of what makes the R1200 GS so durable is BMW's philosophy of over-engineering. The bike was built for serious global adventure riding, which means it had to handle punishment most motorcycles will never see. Long days on rough terrain, exposure to the elements, heavy luggage, and endless miles on the highway, all without breaking down. That kind of design philosophy results in a machine that can outlast its rider. For older riders in the US, the GS has a special appeal. It's tall, commanding, and comfortable, with ergonomics that make long rides easier on aging backs and knees. Unlike sport bikes that punish the rider with cramped seating, the GS is designed for all-day comfort. Add to that its legendary handling, thanks to BMW's telelever suspension and shaft drive system, and you have a motorcycle that's as smooth as it is sturdy. Another reason the R1200 GS shines is the sheer scale of its support network. Because it's so popular worldwide, parts and expertise are available almost anywhere, from a BMW dealer in Los Angeles to a small repair shop in South America. This global reach is part of why so many long-distance adventurers choose the GS. When you're thousands of miles from home, you want a bike that's not only tough, but also supported everywhere you go. It's also worth noting the GS's place in pop culture. Travel documentaries, magazines, and TV shows have often featured the R1200 GS as the ultimate long-haul motorcycle. The most famous example? Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman's Long Way Round series, where they rode GS models across continents. That show didn't just highlight the GS, it cemented its reputation as the motorcycle that can take you anywhere and come back stronger. Ultimately, the BMW R1200 GS earns its place near the top of this list because it isn't just a bike you own, it's a bike you live with for decades. Riders who buy a GS often keep it for life, passing it down like an heirloom. For those who want a motorcycle that truly outlasts its rider, the R1200 GS is a legend that delivers adventure, comfort, and endurance in one unstoppable package. Number 2. Yamaha FJR1300. When Yamaha introduced the FJR1300 in 2001, it was aiming squarely at a niche that American riders, especially those over 40, care about deeply, long-distance sport touring. The result was a motorcycle that combined comfort, power, and handling in a way few bikes ever have. But what truly sets the FJR1300 apart, and why it lands so high on our list, is its legendary reliability. This is the kind of machine that racks up mileage most bikes could only dream of. The FJR1300 is powered by a 1,298 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine that produces smooth, effortless power. Unlike high-strung sport bike engines that need constant revving, the FJR's motor is tuned for torque and endurance. It's common to hear of FJR owners putting 100,000 miles on their bikes without breaking a sweat. In fact, there are documented cases of these machines hitting 200,000 miles and still running strong, needing little more than routine maintenance. That kind of longevity puts the FJR in a class of its own. Yamaha engineered the FJR with the long haul in mind. The shaft drive eliminates the need for messy chain maintenance and can last the life of the bike with proper care. Its liquid cooling system keeps temperatures in check even during hours of high-speed highway cruising. And its build quality, solid frame, durable plastics, and well-protected components, means the bike holds up under both time and miles. Many owners remark that their FJRs feel just as tight and responsive after a decade of riding as they did when new. Comfort is another factor in its enduring appeal, especially for riders over 40. The FJR was designed to devour miles with ease, offering adjustable ergonomics, a plush seat, and excellent wind protection. Unlike pure sport bikes that can be punishing on longer rides, the FJR strikes a perfect balance between speed and comfort. It's a motorcycle that makes cross-country touring possible without leaving the rider sore and exhausted. For older riders who still crave performance but value comfort more than ever, the FJR has been a perfect match. What also makes the FJR legendary is Yamaha's reputation for bulletproof reliability. The company is known for building machines that rarely break down, and the FJR is a shining example. Owners often describe it as boring in the best possible way, because it just works. No quirks, no surprises, no drama. Just a motorcycle that starts every time, runs flawlessly, and asks little in return. The FJR1300 also benefits from a loyal community of riders who rack up serious mileage. Online forums are filled with stories of owners taking their FJRs on coast-to-coast trips, multi-week adventures, and daily commutes spanning decades. With parts readily available and Yamaha's dealer network supporting the model for years, there's no reason an FJR can't remain on the road indefinitely. For riders in the US who want a motorcycle that feels sporty, yet is comfortable enough for long-distance travel and tough enough to last a lifetime, the Yamaha FJR1300 is a dream machine. It's not flashy or trendy. It's reliable, powerful, and timeless. That's why it sits at number 2 on our list of motorcycles that will outlast their riders. Number 1. Honda Goldwing. When it comes to motorcycles that truly outlast their riders, no machine deserves the crown more than the Honda Goldwing. Since its debut in 1975, the Goldwing has become the undisputed king of touring bikes. A motorcycle built not just for comfort and luxury, but for legendary reliability. For American riders, especially those over 40, the Goldwing isn't just a motorcycle, it's a lifelong companion. The first Goldwing, the GL1000, arrived with a flat-4 engine and shaft drive, and right away, it proved that Honda wasn't messing around. Here was a touring motorcycle that could run smooth for hundreds of thousands of miles without complaint. Over the years, the Goldwing evolved into larger flat-6 engines, growing in size and features, but never losing its core strength: bulletproof durability. Even today, it's not uncommon to see older Goldwings with 200,000 or even 300,000 miles still cruising highways across America. What makes the Goldwing so special is the combination of over-engineering and practicality. Honda built these bikes to handle long-distance touring, meaning they had to withstand constant high-speed cruising, heavy loads, and cross-country adventures without breaking down. The flat-6 engine is one of the smoothest and most durable motorcycle engines ever created, designed to run cool and last seemingly forever. With proper maintenance, many Goldwings simply refuse to die. For older riders, the Goldwing offers another huge advantage: comfort. While many motorcycles sacrifice comfort for speed or style, the Goldwing is built like a two-wheeled luxury car. Plush seating, advanced suspension, excellent wind protection, and endless touring amenities make it the ultimate long-distance cruiser. Riders over 40 often choose the Goldwing because it allows them to continue enjoying long rides well into their later years without the aches and pains that come from less comfortable bikes. Another reason the Goldwing stands out is its culture. Owners form clubs, attend rallies, and share maintenance tips, creating a community that helps keep these bikes alive for decades. The availability of parts and the sheer number of Goldwings sold in the US means you can always find what you need to keep one running. Whether you own a 1980s GL 1200 or a modern GL 1800, support is never far away. But perhaps the most telling proof of the Goldwing's longevity is the countless rider stories. Cross-country tours, coast-to-coast rides, and international adventures. These bikes have done it all, and they just keep going. Many riders even pass their Goldwings down to family members with bikes that are still in excellent condition after decades of use. The Honda Goldwing isn't just a motorcycle, it's an institution. It represents everything riders over 40 value: reliability, comfort, and the freedom to hit the open road without fear of breakdowns. If any motorcycle can truly be said to outlast its rider, it's this one. For all these reasons, the Honda Goldwing takes the #1 spot on our list. It's the ultimate long-haul machine, the king of endurance, and the motorcycle most likely to be running strong long after its owner has hung up their helmet. From rugged dual sports to luxurious touring legends, these motorcycles prove that the right machine can outlast its rider. Built tough, ridden hard, and loved for decades, they're more than bikes. They're lifelong companions. Which one would you trust for the long haul? Let us know below.